Guys, I have not been this nervous driving around my area in a while. There are cops everywhere! So to explain what I mean by there are cops everywhere, my town recently had a crime spree, and as a result there's just 5-0 all over the place, making it a little bit worrisome to drive a car that's as modified as mine. And in the state of Virginia, if you don't have a front plate on your car, you will get a ticket. So I just reached down and put my front plate in my window because, yeah, I'm not looking forward to a ticket right now. That's not what this video is about today. Today we are talking about mods. Now, a subscriber posed this question to us. They were like, hey, what are some good starting mods? And to be honest, we have answered this question way back in season 1, but now that we've actually built modified cars, you know, that are heavily modified, like this Evo I'm in right now, we feel like we have a better grasp and understanding on what would make for good starting mods. Now, I want to start off this video and say it like this. When it comes to modding your car, there are a few different approaches, but ours focuses on ground up building. So it starts off with the suspension, and then it gets into power, and then it gets into aesthetics. Some people build it differently. Some people just go straight for the engine block and go, yeah, let's shove all the horsepower we can into it. And that's fine and dandy, but what happens if you try to steer? What happens if you try to drive your car and turn left? If you have all this power and you can't slow down or even handle the turn, you're going to be in some seriously hot water. We do what we call phase building. What we mean by that is we shoot for a certain power number, and then instead of building it in like the stage components, we overbuild so that we get parts that'll work with where we're going but are designed for above that. For example, my injectors are designed to go up to about 600-700 horsepower. My car right now is only putting out 310, just because there's a lot of other mods I need to do first, like cams and a bigger downpipe and all that stuff. They're capable of more than what I have, but they're not being damaged by the fact that we're not putting it out there at the power output that it should be. Kind of like an overbuilding concept so that we can tune conservatively and maintain a certain level of reliability inside of a heavily modified car. That's really how we approach it. And also we start with the suspension first and work on the actual power aspect later. We want to be able to stop before we can go. So that said, now that we've explained phase building and how that works and whatnot, and this overbuilding concept that we have, let's start with how we prefer to do this. Number one, for anybody that's wanting to build a car, start with brakes. Why do we say that? If you can't stop, you shouldn't go. Basically, if you cannot slow your car down, putting all that power into it is not a good idea, because then you're just building a missile car, and missiles are meant to blow things up, including whoever happens to be strapped to it. If you live in an area like we do, where it's known for high traffic, having the ability to slow down safely and very quickly is always a good thing. One of the first things I definitely did on this Evo was get a modified exhaust. This has a catback on it. It also has a racing cat, and it changes the way that it sounds, so it's like real nice and fun, whatever. But it also allows it to have better power output later on. It's a 3-inch all the way out. So starting with an exhaust is always a great place because it's something different for you, you know? It's not a huge power upgrade. Some cars it is, and mine it's not really, because it came with a 3-inch from the factory. It's just this has less restrictions in it. That's the key thing. One thing we would also say is do an air intake. Doesn't add any horsepower, but what it definitely does is it allows you to have a higher flowing intake system, so that when you start working on things like cams, which is way later down the line, then you'll have the ability to get all that air output, or input rather, shoved into the engine with less restrictions. It also just adds like a real nice fun, like high induction suck sound that's just awesome. In my car, when I open the hood, when I first start the car, it's just this vacuum of air just being sucked in, and it sounds so great. I love it to death. One thing I would also say is definitely beef up your suspension with strut bars and anti-sway bars. Anti-sway bars go under the car, they connect to where your wheels are, and strut bars go on the tops of your struts. They help push against the car's natural body roll that it has. Every stock car has some, and it allows for a more comfortable driving experience. Add those pieces in to give it some more structural rigidity, so that now, instead of having all this body roll, you can put all of your momentum straight into your tires and maintain grip all the way through corners, all the way through turns. It's a great experience. Which leads me to another point, wheels and tires. This is a bit more expensive on the mod list, but getting better quality wheels and tires that are lighter, that provide more grip, that's always a good solution. Now, if you're like me and you like your stock shifter because it feels real nice tight, you just like to throw to it, then you're fine. But if you're like Ishmael and you like a real nice tight short throw, getting short throw shifter is a great option. Pretty soon we're actually going to be installing one on our 240 project. If you're not familiar with that, we'll leave a little thing in the eye. It's probably in one of these two corners. I don't remember. I'm too busy enjoying my drive. A short throw shifter will enable you to shift faster, a little bit more concisely, so there's less play in your shifting, and it just helps increase your overall ability to drive the car quickly and successfully. I personally don't use one in my Evo just because I like the notchiness of the stock shifter. I know of other people that have said the same thing, so for me, having a short throw in this car, it wouldn't be much of a benefit. It would just be more of a, okay, I guess I can drive with it, but I prefer it the way that it is. Getting an aftermarket wheel always adds a nice little personal flair on the inside of the car. Just be aware, not all states are keen on you doing this because it involves removing an airbag. So if you're like me and you live in the state of Virginia and you run with a aftermarket wheel, be prepared, you might get hit with that if a cop pulls you over for not having an airbag. Some shops will not allow you to pass safety without a airbag in the front because that's part of the list. For most cars, it's just unfortunately a necessary evil in this area. Another mod that I would say you should definitely do involves a little bit more of your driver comfort. Seats. If you've been following our channel for a while, then you know that way back in January when I still had my Silver Lancer Mitsuchan, we put in a nice set of Brom VR2 bucket seats. They're about $750 for both. They were comfy. I did a long distance road trip to Ohio and back without any issues, no back pains, nothing. They were super comfortable, deep seated, deep bolsters. They made for a great, comfortable ride. It's something that I would recommend to anybody who does a lot of driving. Again, this Evo has Recaros from the factory in it, so for me, going with something other than these Recaros, it would take a lot of convincing. Last but not least, this mod really does not add any performance whatsoever. It's just a fun one that I say do it because I like music. Getting a better stereo and speaker system allows you to have a nice time in here. I'm a musician as well, so for me, having quality audio was a must. I cannot deal with bad audio. It hurts my soul, man. Besides, if you're like me and you have a lot of people in your car, having good audio is a great thing. And most cars come with 2 seats. That means you're probably gonna have a passenger at some point in life. And that wraps this up. I hope you guys find this helpful and informative because again, a mod isn't necessarily just shoving money straight into an engine block. A lot of times a mod is simply something as simple as stickers or a shift knob or deleting a box in your car or whatever the case might be. There's a number of things there. I hope you guys find this helpful and informative. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps us know that you guys are interested in our content, what we have to say, what we have to show. And subscribe as well. Please be sure to hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified every time we upload a video. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you on another episode. God bless and peace.